Well, as you can see on the screen, these are not wrong. There are... This is, without a doubt, the smallest lobby we've had in not only Tier 2, but pretty much in the history of RPL. Normally, under certain circumstances, if a certain number of drivers can't run, we normally cancel. But the host has decided, screw it, let's just get this done. This is RPL Formula 1 Tier 2, Season 19, Round 7. We're at Mexico for what is the smallest race in RPL history. Ironwolf on hand for this, infamous historic moment in RPL's history. As said, 10 drivers are racing tonight. So, that means practically everyone in this field is guaranteed points. Unless you DNF and quit right out of the gate. Then you won't get points. So, let's take a look at last week's runs and figure out what we got going on. So, last week was Silverstone. That race was won by JTK over Night Owl and Joe Wilson. Night Owl got a disconnect, wound up finishing in second, and was actually crossed that he didn't get the win. He made the decision himself to quit Tier 2 because he wasn't having any fun anymore, and now has gone to Tier 1 early. And speaking of which, that leaves the championship completely wide open, because originally going into this race, Night Owl had the championship over Lennon with 3 points advantage. JMS is currently sitting in, Lennon's now the net point leader with 79 points. JMS sitting in second with 72, and Josh433 sitting in third with 67. Constructors, Ferrari has lost a bit of their lead. They are 48 points ahead of McLaren, 179 to 131. Mercedes is sitting in third with 126. So, looking at our tiny lineup here, so we have GTK in the Mercedes, JMS in the McLaren, Josh433 and Lennon in the Ferrari, Zakaria in the Mercedes, Alan J and SV in the Haas, Devin in the Red Bull, and Valentino and Savage are in the Saubers, which means via the lineup right now, pretty much Ferrari Academy has all their drivers involved. Mercedes Academy only has 3 of 8 involved. There was going to be a 4th, but no word from the 4th person involved, which was Dasher. He would have been the second McLaren, but no word from him. And poor Red Bull Academy, just Devin, and that is it. So let's ride on with Alan J sitting in the 6th place position. Zakaria up in the 4th in that Mercedes. Devin in 6th. We just got a few more cars left on hand. SV coming across. He goes up to 9th over Savage. Josh433. Nothing can be done for him. Lennon could try to get it. Nope, he's only 4th. So GTK improves by just only 600ths of a second. He will get pole position with a 14-1 over JMS, just a 10th ahead. Alan J sells for 6, and Valentino the last driver to finish off on his time, but he has backed off from his run, so that means... JMS invalidated, that's what happened. But that's it right there. So JTK on pole. Okay, so from so we do not. So let's see. So results from Tier 3, by the way, we did have that earlier today. That race was won by Rundown in the Ferrari over Dylan in the McLaren, and Bezezio was in third in the Merc. That is the unofficial results right now. But as it sits, only we have about an hour before the Tier 3 clip submission ends, and so far no clips are in. So that means we could be looking at that being the official results for this. And tomorrow for Tier 1, we are looking at apparently a just about full grid for Tier 1 tomorrow in Canada. So there's your roster there. So we got 7 drivers within 1/8 of each other. And then Valentino, Savage, and SV just having their own little scrap. About 1/10 of a second behind between the 3. Well, well, as said, this is the smallest RPL competitive grid that we will have in this game. The previous record was F2 Season 19's finale at Abu Dhabi, where we had 11 run the feature race, but dropped to 9 in the sprint. But we're going off of what we had to begin with, which was 11. And that one we raced, that F2 race was raced, but it was done with half points taken into effect. And the 5 lights come on for the smallest race ever. Off we go into Mexico and into a bunch of scrambling around between the drivers. 3-way battle between Josh, JMS, and JTK. Almost 3 wide hanging into turn number 1. Contact between the two. Into turn number 1. JMS leads off into turn number 3. A bit of contact between JTK and Josh. Devin goes a small bit wide, 3 wide up temporarily in the background. Zakaria holding off Valentino and Alan J. Alan J into the background. There's Devin making a slingshot into turn number 5. And into 6th goes Devin. SV goes for a half spin and off into no man's land. And the field has separated out already. JMS leading over JTK, Josh, Lennon, Zakaria, Devin, Valentino, Alan J. Alan J right on the top back end of Valentino. Savage there as well. And SV had a bit of a scuffle and a half. Gets slipped and slide out of 5. And into there too, into the stadium. Looks like Lennon was sneaking a peek on Josh to go for the third place position. Now bear in mind, as it sits right now, Lennon will be inheriting the championship lead as it sits. With his fourth right now, he'll have 12 points, so he'll be 9 points ahead of Night Owl as it sits. The DRS is active, enabled, and in there's Alan J around the outside, gets around Valentino, and into 7th place he goes. Running on focusing up with Zakaria, with Devin right on his tail. And then in the 4th place position is Josh in 3rd. So here we go. On hand with Josh right now. GTK trying to chase up. And Savage into the penalty box on lap number 2. Those S's in the second sector are nasty. So DRS enabled for the drivers in hand. GTK, Josh now sending the fastest lap. GTK following with JMS, and GTK making a move onto the inside, and ahead he goes into the lead. Ahead of JMS. Now JMS will not have DRS, but GTK will, so GTK will get a little more gap on JMS here, but JMS stays with. So let's see, what tires are everybody on? Well, Savage and SV on the hard compound tires. Everybody else is on the medium compound tires. Now this is a definite 2-stop race, I believe. We'll see as it progresses on. JMS losing tabs to GTK. 17.9 is the fastest time set by GTK. Here comes JMS down the inside, reclaims the lead. So, battle between Merck Academy and Ferrari on hand. Alright, so 17.9 is right now the fastest lap time-wise. And that was with GTK's lap. Now the fastest lap sat in for Tier 1 was a 17.079 by Jack. So, GTK about a full second off of the fastest lap so far as GTK gets the lead back. And I think this is what's going to happen every single lap. GTK and JMS will be swapping up. There's Sicario sitting in the 5th place position, staying with the DRS train as well, by the way. And speaking of which, that DRS train for GTK to Zakaria They pulled away from Devin and the rest of the field. Devin 2 seconds behind Zakaria as it stands. Alan J 3 seconds behind Devin. Sorry about that. Had a bit of some audio issues, but just switched over to Savage and Valentino battling it out for the 8th place position. Valentino braked a bit too late, almost went into the back of Savage. That would have sucked. And Valentino into the penalty box on that's a weird spot to get a penalty there. I think he could get that removed, because that doesn't make any sense. That area where he went off didn't make any sense at all. I will say this, if I sound like I don't have any energy in this, I mean this is a bit of a bit boring just having 10 drivers and stuff. So that's a bit on the boring side. Oh, standby. Sorry about that. I had a quick phone call. You saw JMS there a few seconds ago trying to make a move on JTK, but wound up getting a bit of a rear snap in the braking zone. Almost two came to collision, and that would have been bad there. And also, Josh went into the pits to get off of the mediums that he was on. Now he's on a fresh set of hard compound tires. And, I mean, this bit... Who really cares about this part? Positions gained and lost. I normally say that for a big, giant, for like a giant field, like with Tier 1. But here we go. JMS trying again on the inside, sticks it and in. He is set. Valentino and Alan J into the pits, getting off of the mediums that they started on. And they will go to the hard compound tires. So, Josh, Alan J, and Valentino went to the pits to get out to those mediums really quick. I think we might see the rest of these guys coming in at some point. And it's mainly because of the S-bends of Sector 2. That really can cripple your tires. Unless you have the right settings, like your right differential and all that sort of stuff. Just to limit it and everything. GTK has gone into the pits. And here we go. So now JMS and Lennon battling it out for potentially the lead. Devin has gone in as well. So JTK will come out a few seconds behind Josh. So the undercut really paying dividends for Josh. And JTK and Devin are on new hard compound tires. So those that pitted... Oh, JMS in the penalty box for the chicane. So... enemies are not lasting as it's presumed to be. And that's going to mean that I believe we are looking at... those on the hards right now. That just pitted for the hards. So guys like, oh, Zakaria speeding penalty. So guys like Josh, GTK, Devin, Alan J, Valentino, and Zakaria, they'll probably have another set of hard compound tires ready to go for them. Lennon was trying to sneak a peek on JMS by the way for the lead, but just couldn't get enough speed necessary in a turn 1 to make it work. And it looks like Zakaria's got some got an issue. He's lagging. He's got a lag spike. And that lag just got him dropped down to 9th. So Zakaria having some lag spikes, that's going to hurt him just a tiny bit. I think he's okay, but Lennon, by the way, just gets the lead from JMS into turn 1. And Josh getting past his teammate of SV into turn 1 as well to get into the 4th place position. Now Savage and Josh, by the way, did not start on the hard, so they have an advantage to go long. And Alan J into turn 1. Trying to get past JMS. Not JMS. Alan J trying to get past Devin. Devin wide. Zakaria in there too. Zakaria trying to make a move onto the inside. Alan J makes him go very deep into there. But, wow, Zakaria not deterred. Gets the position. Alan J really made Zakaria think on his feet, but he was undeterred. And gets the position on him. Ooh, JMS with a slide, and he has gone into the pits. So Savage has second for right now, but here comes Josh on the inside. Savage doesn't choose to fight, gets into there. GTK gets past SV for 4th, and oh, rear snap again on SV's part. You saw those rears just heat right up, and into a half spin goes SV. Devin wide again. And Alan J. Alan J not close enough to try to fight Zakaria again to get back in the 7th. Oh! A little snap on Josh's part. And Lennon is in. So, Josh will inherit the lead to kick off lap 13. And GTK, like a cruise missile, like a full-blown cruise missile, gets past gets past Savage, and into second place he goes. And Lennon is gonna come out alongside Zakaria into turn 1. Minor lag spike again from Zakaria, but gets ahead of Lennon and into 6th. But Lennon fires on the gas and gets back ahead into turn 4. So Zakaria has had another lag spike again, but that's the second one that he's had. But going into the S's, looks like he's okay. As Devin now into the penalty box for track limits. So, Savage heads into there. And GTK, by the way, just set an identical lap to his time that he had on the mediums. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was just the 7 and the 5 switched, but it was 18 thousandths quicker. Josh's fastest lap, by the way, was only 9.995 behind him. Well, no, sorry. 0.095. I apologize. 0.095 is the gap between that. But Savage, the first of the hard tire guys, into the pits. At the end of lap 13. So that means we could be seeing SV pretty shortly within the next couple of laps. Within the next lap or two. So if it is about 13 laps for it, that means in Savage's part, he's going to have to pit again from those hards at around lap 26 or 27, and he'll have to go 11 laps on mediums to finish the race. But I believe currently, in regards to tire settings, JMS and Lennon have the best advantage right now, because JMS went 12 laps on his mediums, Lennon went 13 laps. So, in Lennon's case, going 13 laps, he's got 23 laps to get through 2 sets of hards if he wants to. Devin, nice move on the outside to the inside, gets the position from Zakaria, and in the 6th place he goes. Meanwhile, JTK has clawed in on Josh for the lead right now. But yeah, so Lennon's got 23 laps to mess with for his tires. JMS has 24 to mess with. Unless JMS and Lennon are thinking about gambling on a one-stop. Which seems very bold and risky if they do that, as there goes JTK up and ahead into the lead over Josh. Valentino back into the penalty box again. JMS harassing SV, trying to goad him into a mishap. Zakaria gets past Devin in the background, going into turn 1. Let's see if JMS has the power, and he does so on the outside, through and in, and JMS up in the 3rd. Lennon follows in pursuit, and he's up in the 4th. Now, despite only 10 drivers here, there is some entertaining moments here. GTK and Josh, JMS and Lennon, Zakaria, Devin, and Alan J having fun. There are some entertaining moments involved. One way not to make it boring, boys. Right on board with Lennon. He was right on JMS's tail. Was hoping to get some power just like JMS did the last lap to get past SV, but not close enough. JMS had a better exit on turn 3 than Lennon did. And JMS holds third for the time being. JTK has pulled away from Josh at this point. Lennon thought about sneaking a move, but decided, nah, I'm going to wait to the big long straightaway to make my attack. And Zakaria, by the way, has caught SV. Devin's there with Alan J. 4-car heat. Onto the main straight. Zakaria peeks his nose on the inside. SV battling with him. Pushing him towards the right end of the track. There comes Devin. SV with a block to Devin. Zakaria gets past SV. And then SV puts in a block on Devin to keep him back. Devin now is going to be going the outside route. SV fighting. And it was inevitable. SV falls to 7th, losing it to Devin. And Alan J gets past SV. Meanwhile, by the way, because of that little brawl we were seeing, Lennon also got past JMS going into turn 1. We saw that in the foreground. We saw that in the, well, not foreground, background when we were on board with SV. And it looks like JMS is now just fallen out of DRS to Lennon. And Lennon, by the way, gets the fastest lap by just over 300ths over JTK. And Zakaria goes defensive, covering the inside to prevent an attack from Devin. So pretty much back to what we were at since the start. Just about. Nearly identical to what we had from the start. Zakaria in 5th, holding Devin back, and Alan J involved in the mix as well. So, SV has still yet to pit, but he has gone 18 laps on those hard compound tires. Let's see what he's got heading into this. Let's see what he's got as we move forward in. But anyways, so let's take a look. Let's ride on board with Devin, who's chasing Zakaria down for the 5th place position. Little snappy on the exit of the stadium for Zakaria. This could give Devin the opportunity he needs to try to hunt Zakaria down. Zakaria gets a little power and a little more breathing room, and he still maintains that 5th place. However, at the cost that Devin's got double the ERS that Zakaria has. Devin has double available. He's dumping it. Now, where will we move? Outside or inside? Zakaria covers it in the middle and keeps him back. So Devin's going to have to try again Another time to get it done. Josh is into the penalty box now. But he's nearly 10 seconds ahead of Lennon, so he is in comfortable space right now. Now, this is going to beg the question. Where... Now, if some of these guys are going to be getting a second stop done, who will be the first to blink? I mean, we saw Josh blink being the first to get off of the mediums, and it paid in good dividends, as he had to leave for a decent amount of time, up until JTK took the lead. So, who will blink first when it comes to pitting for a second time? Should that need arise? But here comes Devin, looking to try again. This time has the inside available, and he does so with a little power slide from Zakaria in 4. But Devin gets the 5th place position. Now, bear in mind that Zakaria does have that 10-second penalty from his first stop that he still needs to serve. And looking at the penalties here, so Josh, JMS, Devin, and Savage have 3 seconds of penalties. Valentino's at 6, while Zakaria has that 10-second to serve at some point later. Now, I do wonder, is SV... Yep, there he is. He's actually going in now. So, SV has gone 22 laps on those hard compounds. So, if you need to use that as a basis... that means within the next... That means Josh will be... If it is the same wear... And that means we'll see Josh within the next 6 laps. While guys like Devin, Alan J, Zakaria, we'll see towards around lap 30. And SV was was struggling quite a lot when he made that stop. But actually JTK is actually the blinking first. JTK blinks first, and Josh right behind. And a new set of hards for both. Devin is in now. So, JTK comes out. He will be right behind Alan J in 4th place. And there's Zakaria dead ahead of him in 3rd. And Zakaria goes to the right, lets his teammate by, and off goes JTK. Meanwhile, Josh is in 6th. Devin, 7th. So, let's see how the others will respond. Now, I'm thinking JMS and Lemon. They both went a little longer on those mediums compared to JTK, Josh, and Devin. If they really want to push it, do you think Lennon and JMS could chance a 1-stop? Are they willing to take that big of a gamble and risk a 1-stop? Will they take that risk? I don't know. But Alan J is in, gets his second set of hards in, and he will come out behind Devin in the 7th place position. So, regards to the one stops, guys with one stops, Valentino, Zakaria, they have yet to come in for the second stop and may possibly come in very soon. As for Lennon and JMS, they might consider waiting. They might consider gambling on a one stop. They could consider it if they want to go for it. And Zakaria is back into the pits. This time did not speed, so he will have to serve his 10-second to kick off. And by the way, GTK did set the fastest lap again to 17.8, and that was only 48 thousandths faster than Lennon's time. Honestly, I would say if GTK gets this win here tonight, it's not because he was fast. Because, I mean, literally, his fastest laps were under a tenth between the others. I would say it's mainly because GTK played the strategy completely in his favor. That's my theory. Is that I think that's my theory, is that GTK played the strategy extremely well. Josh comes across and he sets the fastest lap with a 17.4. That puts him just over 4/10 ahead of GTK via that fastest lap. So a 17.4 there, and a 17.9. So Josh on his fast lap was half a second faster than GTK. And speaking of GTK, he's closing in on JMS, 1.7 seconds behind. Now JMS is stagnant in regards to his gap with Lennon right now. And with that 3-second penalty that JMS has, unless he decides to gamble and risk that one stop, and Lennon goes into the pits, that's pretty much the only way JMS will be getting third in this race. But if he does not, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. As Savage just gets his second track limit penalty. Zakaria, by the way, after serving that 10-second, he is sitting in 8th place. So he's got a ways to go to catch the guys ahead. As it sits right now, he is right on the back end of Valentino right now. And I think he's going for a move now, and he does so into the stadium and gets into 8th place. So Zakaria is 6.7 seconds behind SV and just under 13 seconds behind Alan J. And Valentino is in for a second stop. Okay, so let's ride on board with JTK as there's JMS just ahead of him. Trying to get into the DRS, and he does so. And Zakaria now gets his first track limit penalty, exiting out of 3. Now Josh, by the way, just is closing in on GTK, closed in by about 1.3 seconds in the last 2 laps. But GTK gets the DRS on JMS. And he is up into second. Now, 2.3 seconds to hunt Lennon down. So, here's the tires here as it sits right now. JMS and Lennon still staying out on those hards that they were on. SV on mediums. And everybody else is on theirs. And JMS, Lennon, and SV, I believe. Well, SV, I believe, is probably going to be gambling with a one stop. JMS and Lennon might be thinking the same thing too. GTK, by the way, into the second sector, about 4/10 up. So he will be looking at getting the fastest lap here. It says a 17-4 against Josh. So here we go. And GTK actually lost time in that third sector. It's a 17.516, which is 53 thousandths behind Josh's fastest lap. And JMS now gets a second track limit warning. That is going to hurt him. That's going to hurt. That was exiting out of turn 3 as well. Now looks like Lennon trying to play the roadblock. Lennon's trying to play the roadblock because we just saw that JMS and Josh are reeling in both of them. So Lennon playing the team game, helping his teammate out, and trying to prolong GTK just enough to get Josh into firing range. Now GTK will have DRS on Lennon. Josh will have DRS on JMS. So, keeping an eye on both of them in the background. If we have both here, there it is. GTK down the inside, Josh on the outside, and GTK into the lead, Josh into third. Good Lord. And Josh has improvement in the first sector. He might extend his fastest time gap. And Valentino, by the way, just got his third track limit penalty of the event. Well, Josh just lost the time in the second sector, but no matter. I believe he'll get in the DRS range of his teammate here. So, here we go. The Ferrari teammates battling it out. And Josh looking to slingshot and up into second place he goes. So, let's take a look at the championship standings as it sits right now. So, let's see. So, Lennon will be taking the championship lead after this race. With his 15 as it sits. Well, unless, Josh does have a 3-second penalty, but I believe Josh will pull him just enough away to keep that second place. But Lennon right now is looking at 94 points, so he will take the championship lead here. Josh will be going into second with 85 points, and JMS will be in third place with 84. So Lennon will be at 94 points. JTK will get second with 89. Josh will be third with 85. And JMS will be in fourth with 84. That's it. That's the unofficial championship standings right now. And JMS is into the pits. So I believe, yes, he will. Soft tires. I think he is thinking, I don't have enough to go for a one stop, but I have fresh sauce, so I'll start slingshotting. Devin now into fourth place, but JMS has soft tires, so he'll have a lot of running to play with. But with 5 laps and 6 seconds of penalties, he has to get a 6-second gap over Alan J and 3 seconds over Devin. Now, the question is with Lennon though, can he make it to the end? Because JMS pitted a lap before he did on the first stop. Will Lennon have enough? Now, he is out of range on Josh, so he will not be getting second. But even if he did pit, he will likely come out around with JMS. But because he doesn't have any track limit penalties, Lennon pretty much is going to be guaranteed third, even if he chooses to stay out or pit on softs just like JMS did. So that is going to be a big question there. By the way, Josh has lost time on JTK. So I think pretty much JTK is in a comfortable spot to get the win here tonight. And no new battles popping up as of yet. JMS, by the way, over 3 seconds clear of Alan J. So he got another 3 seconds to go to get it done. He's in DRS. Devin now. 18-7 versus 19-1 for Josh. So Josh lost almost 4/10 to JTK here. Now JMS in pursuit of Devin, and Devin moves out of the way. I think, yeah, JMS does have a DRS. And a 17-8 for JMS. That puts him as the third fastest in the field. Alright, so JMS in the 4th place spot. So he's got to get, let's see, as it sits with 2.5 laps to go, he has to get 1.5 seconds over Alan J to stay in 5th, but to maintain 4th, he's got to get 1.2 seconds on Devin to keep his spot. Well, we'll see what happens going into this. 2 to go now. So, let's see what we got out of this. Looks like Alan J just pouring some overtake out. JMS building up the battery. Now, pretty much for JMS, right now, He's got to get about 9/10 on both Devin and Alan J to get the fifth to get his fourth place spot kept. Now we'll see. Lennon is still keeping her going. 22 laps on those hard compounds, so he'll be going 24 on these tires. Solid credit to Lennon for chancing a one-stop, and it paid off. And it paid off in spades here. Final lap, sponsored by Fanatec. So, JTK holding his ground and getting the lead that he has. And let's see how we go here. By the way, JMS, by the way, is about 4/10 away from keeping fifth. He needs to put some more power in. He's got to do something. But here he comes into the stadium section for the final time. SV and Savage battle out for 8th place here. The strategy pays off, and maintain the skill in a good sense. JTK wins in Mexico. Josh will settle for second and monitoring those tires phenomenally well and getting the position he wants. Lennon, 24 laps on those hards, takes 3rd place. Now a question, JMS, he will lose 4th place to Devin, but will he keep 5th? The answer is no. I don't think he does. And he does not. By 2/10 of a second, JMS is in 6th place. Devin 4th, Alan J 5th. Zakaria will be in 7th. SV will be getting 8th. Savage looking at 9th. And Valentino will get the last point in 10th place. So, driver of the day. Driver of the day, in my opinion. I think driver of the day, I mean, it is a toss-up between JTK for working his strategy out really well, or Lennon for gambling a one-stop and going 24 laps on the hards and getting a 3rd place finish. So podium celebration, JTK with the win over Josh and Lennon. Good stuff there. Yeah, like I said, I think I'm torn between them. Well, the game gave it to Josh, interestingly. I don't know. I think I'm probably going to give it to Lennon, honestly. I might give it to him in that sense. But there's your results there. JTK, the winner. Josh, 2nd. Lennon, 3rd. Devin, 4. Alan J, 5. JMS, 6. Zakaria, 7. SV, 8. Savage 9, and Valentino in 10th place. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get the driver today to Lennon, mainly because of his one-stop gamble, and it worked out in spades for him. So, lights out. So let's see, lights out in RPL for the first time in Tier 2. Who was the best and who was the worst? Well, we got 2 green lights here. We're gonna give our first green light to JTK for planning a good strategy and having it paid off in good spirits for a win. Another green light for Lennon for gambling with a one-stop and getting a phenomenal third place despite running 24 laps on those hard compound tires. Yellow light, I would say we'll have to give to JMS. Had a chance to get fourth place, but just couldn't pull enough of a gap to get it secured. And red light and fail of the day. Well, truth be told, there's no driver that will be getting a fail of the day, but fail of the day, and I don't care for this. Fail of the day is gonna be for the tier itself. 10 drivers to race this out of 14. We could do better than this, boys and girls. We could do better than that. So, that's my fail of the day. But tomorrow we'll be back in it for Tier 1 action. They will be taking place in Canada. And then we move in... to Tier... Then we move into Tier... the tiers for next week. Tier 3 next week is a mystery track for Tier 3. Vegas will be for Tier 2. Hopefully we'll have some better numbers this time around. And Tier 1, like I said, we'll have Canada for tomorrow. Well, from RPL Stream Ironwolf signing off. Good night, and we will see you tomorrow for Tier 1.